Do, 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 do. I'm so tired. Hey guys, how are you? Hope you're well. Hope everybody had a great Halloween. I know for some of you it's not over yet, but it's almost over. It's close enough. Hope you had a good one. Jack won't be here tonight, or if he is, he's going to be very late. So you just get me. Good luck to us all. I want to start tonight. I actually wanted to start tonight talking about the election, but I need to talk about this thing that just happened to me on Twitter because it actually blew my mind a little bit. I saw a post from this person I follow, nice enough lady, and it was a little meme kind of Facebook thingy that said the 16-year-old who's trick-or-treating has chosen to embrace their inner child rather than going out partying. Just give them a damn Snickers. And the lady who posted it, she added to that her own words where she said, this is what I used to tell people when my 16-year-old would go out. At least he's not out getting high or something like that. And I'm like, wait, are those really the only two choices? Is getting high or taking candy from kids? Because that candy's meant for little kids. And she got very offended by my comment, by the way. Wow. Told me I need to rethink what I said. I still stand by what I said. When I was growing up, there was an age limit on trick-or-treating. 13 was your last year. Was that only where I lived? Trick-or-treated till I was 18. What's the problem? That candy's meant for little kids. You know what I did after 13? I stayed home and I passed out candy to the little kids. They are a bunch of stoners saying, why not both? Yeah, you're probably right. And it was dangerous on Twitter. It was like, I think they're just saving up for when they get the munchies later. Can't trick or treat high. I know, right? You could multitask. Exactly. I don't understand. How are those the only two choices? Getting high or going and begging strangers for candy? I don't get it. There've literally never been more for kids to do than there is in 2024. Different ways to keep yourself entertained. And like, no, we can either get high or go take candy from strangers that's meant for little kids. Excuse me for enjoying my youth. I feel like when you're 2 years away from adulthood, it's probably too much to be, actually acting like a little kid. When you embrace your inner child, you don't like sit down and shit your pants because that's what 2-year-olds do, right? I embrace my inner child all the time without actually, we don't mimic the exact behavior of the children. Dressing up alone is childish. You don't got to go take the candy too. Am I alone in this? Seriously, there were age limits where I lived, and you could get in trouble for being out if they caught you. Anyhow, I just didn't realize it was a controversial subject. Learn something new every day, they say. I don't feel that that's really true. I'm pretty certain I've spent most of my life not learning. But whatever. Guys, we are 4 days out. 4 days out. This is the last weekend that you will have where one of these two has not been elected president. Now, look, we might not know the results. I still think we're going to know the results the first night. I mean, it is incredibly unusual for us not to have the results the first night. They kind of warned us in 2016. They were like, we might not have the results. And then we had them. And then in 2020, they're like, yeah, we had a water main leak. It could happen. It could wait till the next day or the day after that. But in all honesty, there's not a good reason for it to be put off. So I'm still hopeful we'll know. There's certain states that if Trump wins, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Like if he sweeps the Southwest, not counting California, of course, but taking Arizona and Nevada, he's pretty much guaranteed. If he takes Michigan, he wins. He theoretically could still lose taking Michigan, but taking Michigan would be a huge slap in the face to Democrats. And if Michigan goes red, Wisconsin likely will. North Carolina probably will. Georgia's probably going red anyway. So there's just a couple of states we're really keeping an eye on. So we'll see what happens with it. CNN came out with a poll today that said Kamala was up by 5 in Michigan. That is just complete nonsense. That is based on nothing. I don't even believe they took a poll for that. I think what they said was just tell everybody she's winning. Maybe we'll get some bandwagoners who want to come vote for her. Oh God, we're gonna watch part of her rally from tonight. Don't worry, not much of it, guys, because it was boring as shit. But I want to highlight some differences between her and Trump. But before we get there, this is how well Kamala is doing. This is the Hill from not that long ago. Democrat, I don't know why it says 1231. Maybe they just retweeted it a little while ago. So this is from 6 a.m. on Halloween. So today or yesterday, depending on where you live. Democrats start to point fingers even as they hope for Harris win. Who starts pointing fingers when you think you're going to win? Nobody does that. This is what you do when you're losing. You're like, it's that fucker's fault. What's with that jaw? I think it's actually just the way he's sitting. He's getting ready to say a word, so his chin is out just a little bit. You'll definitely have the results the next morning, just after just 3 a.m., of course. I look, there's going to be some places that are later, like Pennsylvania. I mean, the Republican, I think it was Pennsylvania. Yeah, Pennsylvania, where the Republicans sued to keep them from counting early votes early. Now, the results would have been hidden. Sure, they would have. But because of that, they're not allowed to start counting those until I believe polls close. So they're going to have to count all of those at the same time they count all the other ones. Evolved Potato, thank you. You'll definitely have the results the next morning. Oh, that's the one I just read. Thank you, Evolved Potato. I just forgot that part of it when I first read it. Anyway, so I think we'll have it that night. I think a lot of it is just the election officials, just in case, giving themselves an out, because like Michigan, they're like, we might not know for weeks. There is no excuse for that. None. This is why you have rules, like you can't, your ballot has to be there by the close of polls on election night. So we're not waiting. And a lot of states do have laws right now that allow them to wait. And that sucks. But I don't think you're going to get enough of a mail-in vote after the fact that it's going to change the election results. Thank you, F. Thank you so much. Jake Paul endorsed Trump. He had a decent speech about it. Sounded like he actually had a serious thought for once. I saw Jake Paul talking to Aiden Ross, and Sneeko was there. Like, oh, there's a meeting of the fucking minds. And Aiden Ross was rocking a Balenciaga shirt, and Jake Paul called him out for wearing pedo gear. It was actually kind of funny. But yeah, I think about as much of Jake Paul's opinion as I do about Jennifer Lopez's. I'm glad he's on the side, but I've never heard Jake Paul say anything even close to intelligent. I didn't see his announcement on it, but yeah, his endorsement don't mean jack to me. It probably does to some of his fans. Unfortunately, they're all 14 and can't vote. Vice President Harris could win the presidential election next week. It's nice of them to put that right at the beginning of the article. But fingers in Democratic circles are already being pointed behind the scenes in the event that she falls to former President Trump. This is not what you want them writing about your candidate 4 days before the election. Or I guess 5 days if it was out at 6 a.m. 5 days before the election, and they're writing about how everybody's starting to blame each other. But don't worry, guys. The polls say she's winning. She's got Michigan by 5. Sure. Why not? While some Democrats say they are increasingly hopeful that Harris will win, others have expressed mounting frustrations about a string of factors that have plagued the campaign from the outset. Look, I will keep reiterating this until the election's over. She could win this. I just saw on Twitter again, literally right before we started. The last thing I did was type on Twitter that early voting results don't mean shit. Because somebody's like, hey, Trump is way ahead in the early voting. And one, they don't even know that Trump's ahead in the early voting. They know Republicans have been voting. There's some exit poll-ish kind of stuff, but in reality, we don't know who's voting, just the way that they calculate it. They're going, it's mostly Republicans, which is fine. But it doesn't mean anything. The only thing you can glean from that is enthusiasm. Clearly, the right has gone and embraced early voting. Good for them. But if the same number of people vote and it's just split over several days, it's still the same number. If that doesn't reflect an increase in voters, or at least him having a total more than her total, doesn't mean shit. Which is good. I don't know that you can say it's good until we see the final vote totals. It could be good if it brought more people out to vote. Again, it might bring more stupid people out to vote. So who knows? Who knows? The only thing you can really see is that right now, in most states, Republicans have an enthusiasm edge when it comes to early voting. It doesn't mean anything till it's counted. I'm not saying that to be a Debbie Downer. I'm not saying that because I'm like, temper your expectations. No, it's just literally meaningless at this point. So it's all never Trumpers voting for Harris. I doubt it, but sure, why not? All right. Where are we? Fingers are being pointed at Harris in her campaign when it comes to disappointment over her messaging, particularly on the economy. I would be pointing fingers just at her messaging in general, because her only consistent message is Donald Trump sucks. She's had 4 or 5 different campaign slogans that they've tried getting things to latch on. Like right now, her newest one is Donald Trump's going to have an enemies list. I will have a to-do list. And we just had to keep hearing that because one idiot on TV said that was actually kind of smart sounding. So she's been breaking that line out over and over again. I would be pissed at her for just being a bad candidate. She's had so many opportunities to go on big shows. Did you guys, anybody watch JD Vance on Rogan today? If you haven't seen it, I'm going to ruin it a little bit for you. Watch the first hour and then you can turn it off unless you're really a kind of nerd. I watched the whole thing because I'm kind of a political nerd. The first hour or so is pretty interesting, and then it doesn't go off the rails. It's just I really like the interaction at the beginning where it's just the two of them. The very first thing they do is talk to each other about their kids and their kids saying bad words, because JD Vance says that one of the hardest things he's had to deal with is his dirty mouth. He wasn't a Marine, but he also said he was raised by a woman who, swore a lot. So it's just part of his vernacular, and he's had to really work at it. And his wife gets annoyed because occasionally their child swears. Their little one would swear, and him and Joe exchanged stories about their children swearing. And it was a fun, humanizing moment. I bet the women out there were swooning, and it was good for them. But all I could think as I'm watching this is Kamala Harris was afraid of doing this kind of interview. Just afraid of doing this kind of thing, sitting down with Joe and just talking. And while they do get into a little bit of policy stuff, and of course they have to get onto drugs, because why wouldn't Joe Rogan push drug use? It's not really all that partisan, I wouldn't say. And maybe that's my own partisanship looking at it, but because she doesn't have real moments. Yeah, she's afraid of just being real. Even the Shannon Sharp interview, which was one that was supposed to humanize her, it was so scripted, the answers she gave. I mean, it was all, hey, you make sure you bash Donald Trump. Did we tell you to bash Donald Trump? Even the parts of that one that should have been humanizing, You know, what was it like when you got that phone call? Well, I was making pancakes and doing a puzzle, and my nieces were over, and then I just sat there and went, and I immediately realized the impact of that situation. If you're going to tell that story, one, you got to sell it a lot better than she did, because she just didn't sell it very well at all. And it wouldn't hurt to have a little bit of a joke or something in there. People really relate to humor, not her awkward laughing, not her right. No, actual genuine humor. And that's what we got with the Vance thing. We're going to see an excellent example of Trump doing that here in just a minute. Because I was reminded as I was watching several Trump clips that we haven't really watched a lot of Trump clips. I've mostly just bashed on Kamala and Tim Walz because honestly, it's easy. I won't lie to you guys. They've made it very, very easy. My job has not been hard at all lately. It's not like it's a hard job to begin with, but shit, they put me on easy mode. But we'll watch a couple of Trump clips tonight that I really enjoyed. But back to our article here. Some devs have already looked to pin the blame on President Biden, who some think took too long to step aside. You guys wanted him. Biden might have stepped aside sooner if you guys hadn't have been lying about his mental state. And if you want to be really honest, the person who should blame for Biden taking too long to step aside is Kamala Harris for not initiating 25th Amendment proceedings. That is still all on her. But do you see? No, it's Joe Biden's fault. I mean, he did win the primary. That's just fact. Thank you, God Randy. That is so kind. It has been 15 days since you gave this monkey wrench to me. Oh, and I told you I was going to do it just for a few minutes, didn't I? I've been plumber for 10 of that. Thanks to you, I now have my ass crack showing 24.4. $15 for the 15 days. Still not wanting it. And you too lazy to move that mouse to click the unmod button. One day I might remember to do it. Joe's now feeling spiteful. Now, Maniac Man, if they had said that Joe keeps fucking this up, he keeps stepping on his dick, he wore a fucking MAGA hat, and then this is something that got brought up during the Rogan JD Vance interview today. That not only did he wear the MAGA hat, he insisted on keeping it, making him part of the garbage that he called everybody else. So, yeah, if they'd pointed to Joe undermining her, I would have no problem with this sentence. But him taking too long to step aside, he didn't have to step aside at all. He was the duly elected primary winner. He should have been their candidate. Now, he didn't step down soon enough. The one person that could have fixed that is Kamala. But she's such a horrible fucking person. Lazy. Fucking lazy. Won't do her goddamn job. So he got to stay there. Fuzzy Wiggle Kitty, thank you so much. Madame, this pudding tastes like shit. Now, where did she get that from? From the fucking fridge, you stupid. I can't say that last word. Thank you so much. We try not to drop that one at the very least in the first hour, unless I am very irritated at something. It was a C-bomb, y'all. I'm not against the word YouTube is. Michelle, thank you so much. Do you think Jamie got fussed at after the show? Probably. Joe had some mic issues, which are actually his own fault. He moves his mic so much that he'd knock the cord loose. And it took him a little while to figure it out. That should have been the first thing they checked. But Joe even said to Jamie, now you really have to replace this thing. I keep telling you need to. So yeah, he probably got a little fussing. Just a little bit though. Gods, I hate that pronunciation. It's Kamala. She's not even remotely black. And look, I went back and looked, and everywhere that I can find her saying it, she does say it Kamala. However, see, now I've been thinking about it, and I'm going to pronounce it wrong the rest of the show. But she was pronouncing it that way, even if everybody else wasn't. She wasn't correcting them or calling them racist for mispronouncing it. Adebisi, thank you. I sent you a special and it didn't show up. I said Kamala should have just used walls to test out Joe. That couldn't really hurt her because Joe isn't going for blood. What do you mean use walls to test out Joe? I'm not sure what you mean. He always makes it sound like what not hot? What not hat? I have no idea what we're... Okay, I'm going back to my article. People are nervous and they're trying to cover their asses and get a little ahead of Election Day, one Democratic strategist said of the sniping. It's based on anxiety, stakes, and the unique nature of this cycle. We didn't have a traditional process for this election. We didn't have a primary. People just had to fall in line, the strategist added. This would be a great point for a reporter to point out that this man just lied. The Democrats absolutely did have a primary. I remember. I covered it. They didn't have a primary for Kamala, but they absolutely had a primary in the Democratic Party. So it might be a little nitpicky, but I do feel like it's important to remind people that this woman was just selected, that the will of the Democratic people got just rolled over because they were so afraid of losing. And I do think it will be absolutely amazing if she loses. Not only the meltdown, because this meltdown is going to be glorious if she loses, but the people blaming each other. This could have reverberations all the way into 2028. And we'll see what happens with it if she loses, because it'll be funny as shit. That's as far as I wanted to read, because I just wanted to get to that part where he said, we didn't have a primary. I'm like, yes, you did, motherfucker. Why are you lying about it? We all saw it. He was the presumptive nominee. They did have a primary, just no one was allowed to vote for anyone else. I mean, other Democrats could have got on the ticket. It's just not normal for people to run against the incumbent other than as a almost a meaningless protest, right? But he was the one that won the primary. And for them to pretend we didn't even have a primary. Yeah, you did. Fuck off. Biden used most of the primary to try to do the general election because there wasn't anybody running against him. And he still failed miserably. All right, now I apologize to you guys for what we're about to watch. It's instructive though, okay? On the screen, you can barely see her. She's right over here. Is my pointer showing up? Yeah, there we go. In front of the podium there, that's Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Lopez. And for some reason, Kamala there in Las Vegas, she brought out the band. How do you say it? Maná? Is that how you say it? I had to look these fuckers up. They're a Mexican pop band from the 80s. That was her headline act of the night. And then Jennifer Lopez there came out to give a speech at the podium. And it was a really bad speech. Look, we got to save the girls so the boys can beat them up. At one point, she's wrapping up her speech clearly, and she says, "It's time to get loud." And she's saying in a very enthusiastic, well, I won't say very enthusiastic voice, but she was trying to project enthusiasm. There's no enthusiasm in this crowd. Even when they start chanting Kamala, and what was the other thing they chant? We will win. We will win. It sounds more like they were forced to say it rather than they were doing it because they're genuinely excited. Now, that might be because Kamala didn't come on stage till almost midnight Eastern time. So what is that, 10 o'clock out there in Nevada? And Jennifer, she gives this half-hearted, it's time to get loud. And then she gets really quiet. And then she goes, I told myself I wasn't going to cry. No, you know what? We should cry. Like, well, that escalated quickly. She never sheds a tear, by the way. It's clearly acting, bad acting, because it's Jennifer Lopez and she can't act. But it was just such a drastic shift in going from "It's time to get loud" to "I promised myself I wasn't gonna cry." And she was crying, y'all, because there's so much at stake this election, and she's really worried about things. And uh here's Kamala Harris. It is fucking it is schizophrenic. It really is. But I wanted to highlight Kamala because this is one of her last speeches she's going to give. She's only got 4 more days. And this is a woman who told us she's getting 9 hours of sleep. So it's not like she should be all that tired. Probably get a copyright strike for this shitty music. Why does Kamala do that when she smiles? It seems like she pulls her chin backwards. So whatever normal overbite she has, it makes it look like she has a really, really like somebody punched her just in the lower jaw, just in the chin, and it knocked everything out of whack. She does that when she's being overly exaggerating of her laugh and smile, and it's really creepy looking.
Can we hear it for Jennifer Lopez?
Am I wrong in saying that doesn't sound like a very enthusiastic crowd? It sounds like the crowd at the end of the night when they're like, "No, not another encore. I got your album."
Happy Nevada Day, everybody.
I don't know what the fuck Nevada Day is, but it's Halloween. You didn't think that. Never mind. Maybe she doesn't want to bring that up with Joe Biden people.
Happy Nevada Day. It is good to be back. Hello, Nevada.
Tier, I didn't bring up the Mexican accent that she started with because she drops it almost immediately.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, and happy Diwali to everyone celebrating. So listen, Las Vegas, are we ready to do this?
That is the most enthusiastic they get.
Are we ready to win? All right. It is good to be back and to be with so many incredible leaders, including, of course, and for anybody who has.
That's all we're gonna watch of it. It's like she has no energy. It's all fake. There's no 25th is Nevada Day. Isn't that like almost a week ago now? I mean, technically it is a week ago now. I can do math. That's 7 days ago. It is the attendees' 15th round. Man, I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. I really, really don't. Thought they were coming for a Moody Blue train. I don't think even she thinks she's going to win at this point. And again, she really does have a chance, guys. It's the margin of error in some of these swing states. She could pull it off. But I don't think she even believes that right now. But I'm not going to force you to watch a whole bunch of Kamala tonight because I don't hate you or myself that much. So instead, oh wait, whoops, I screwed up. I need that video back. Bring it back. Shit. Now I got to go find it in my fucking timeline. I changed the wrong damn tab. There it is. All right. So we'll watch that one second. I got to bring up the first one because I closed it before the show on accident. All right. We are going to watch. This is really loud. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Let me know if I end up turning this down too low. We talked about Donald Trump going out there with his vest on, but I finally got to see this, and I think it really highlights the difference between Trump and Kamala, and why Trump resonates with people and she doesn't. It's okay, Monk. We're both old. I can't even chalk that one up to age. It's one that I do all the time. Ask Jack. I close shit all the time. I blame my wife because my wife has this thing about keeping your computer desktop, clear. And that is seeped into me. So I close tabs all the time. I have barely any icons on my desktop. It's her fault, y'all. That's why this shit has to happen. Anyway, this is Trump telling the story of the garbage can. Now, I don't feel bad that we didn't watch any personal stories from Kamala because we've seen all of hers and they barely count as personal stories. Like my nieces were over and they said, "Will you make us pancakes?" So I made the pancakes and some sausage, and then there was a puzzle, and then the phone rang. I mean, her stories suck. But what we haven't done is delved into watching the master at work.
This outfit, is when he called us all garbage. How stupid! What a stupid word. That blows deplorable away, don't you think?
Notice he doesn't have to go ha 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 ha, right? Ha ha ha. He called us garbage. Ha ha ha. I've never seen anybody that has to do it the way that she does, that is looking for that much affirmation. She is the physical embodiment of please laugh.
Of course, I thought irredeemable when she said deplorable or irredeemable. I thought irredeemable was actually worse, but deplorable seemed to catch up. But this garbage stuff blows it away. So I'm in this beautiful plane. I'm enjoying myself. Have a wonderful suit on.
I don't know why people are clapping for. See, this is the difference between the audiences too. He's like, "I'm in my plane," and they just start clapping because they like Trump so much. Like, he said words, clap. They're actually interrupting the story.
And one of my people came in and said, "Sir, the word garbage is the hottest thing right now out there. The hottest thing out there, sir. Would you like to drive a garbage truck?"
All right, so I don't know if this is true or not, if because I like to believe that he's the one that comes up with this stuff, but if it was somebody in his campaign, that person needs a raise because this was just genius.
Now we're about 30 minutes from landing. We had to do this pretty quick. I said, "Sort of cool though, isn't it?" Because and I said, "I think that's okay, but I don't feel comfortable wearing a suit." And they pulled up this garbage truck. I don't know how the hell they did it so fast. I have very capable people. They put a big sign on the truck. Did you see it? I think they showed it.
I have to keep interrupting him because we're watching other people's videos. Plus, it's important. I pointed this out last night. Them getting that and it looking so nice and everything in less than 24 hours is fucking amazing. That is some serious work getting done because apparently what they did is they just had a brand new garbage truck and they're like, we'll slap a sticker on the side of it. And apparently they just have billboard size stickers in their fucking warehouse. It was really impressive. And definitely in a matter of modern times, you could not have done that, say, 30 years ago.
And then they said, "Sir, we have a vest." I said, "Well, should I leave my suit on and put it over the vest?" But that doesn't look very good, right? That doesn't look good. So I said, "All right, look, let me take it off." And then I actually said, I climbed into the truck, but so I said, "How the hell do you get into this truck? It's way up high. It's a big one." This was a beauty. I said, "You didn't have to buy it that big, right? You have to get it that big." They brought this brand new, gorgeous truck, wonderful driver. He looked like Cary Grant in his prime. You know that?
And see how complimentary I still think it's weird that he talks about how attractive people are. But he does it to everybody. He's certainly not sexist about it. But he's complimentary. If Kamala told this story, she'd go, "I once knew a garbage man," and that'd be it. He tells a good story. He draws the crowd. Listen to how much more excited they are listening to him than those people who had just sat through a concert that Kamala paid for. And Jennifer Lopez speaking, and they're like, yeah, I'm ready to go vote. We're going to watch this whole thing, or at least most of it, because it makes me laugh. This whole story, not the whole thingy here. Because I did pull up the full video. It's like an hour and 18 minutes long. We're not watching all that shit.
This beautiful driver, and he drove that big thing up. And I said, man, this is bad, because now I have all the cameras are all watching. Look at all the fake news. They were, most of them.
I love that he calls the news out like that. That shit is funny as fuck every time he does it. Like all the fake news. Oh, Donald.
No, most of them, many of them were there. And I'm saying, oh, boy. You know, one little mistake with these guys and your political career is over. You can't even. So I said, man, if I don't get up there, this is going to be very embarrassing. These stupid people, they'll say, he's cognitively and physically impaired.
As somebody who also does accents and stuff, you guys can't see my face when I do it. I really appreciate when Trump does his little imitations of people.
And I can't do that when I'm alongside of this great athlete. I got to get up to that. So look.
Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Can you guys hear me? Houston, we has a problem. Oh, great. You guys can hear me, but I cannot hear the video anymore. That's not good. My computer is decided to fuck with my stream. Let me check a setting here. Nope, the setting is still right. What happened to the sound?
So I'm alongside
it's
of this
their
great
video.
athlete.
Never
I gotta
mind.
get up to that. So look.
Damn it, that's the best part of it. Anyway, he says his hand motion there is like, I see the stairs and they're this high. And I said, shit. And it's a great moment. Man, YouTube, who did Fox? I don't know what Fox this is from, but you guys are douchebags. That's all right. I got a better video for us anyway. Just the way he tells it. And then he goes on to tell that he wanted to take the vest off. They're riding over in the car and he's still wearing the vest and he wants to take it off. And they're like, could you keep it on? And he gets to the venue here and he's like, where's my jacket? Like, we really think you should keep that on. And he goes, no, I don't want to get up there in front of all those people wearing this. And they said, it makes you look thinner. He goes, all right, I'll wear it up there. The man just tells a great story. And it's self-deprecating. It's humorous. It's making fun of the shitbags who lie about him constantly. It's just perfect. It's just perfect. It's a great moment. Until Fox News had to fuck it up by muting their own stream, apparently, or their own thing. But we're going to jump over to a different video of Trump because Trump was on with Tucker Carlson. And he talks about Adam Schiff, and it's one of the funniest things I've seen in a while. So we're going to look at that as well. Hang on, I'm waiting for it. Thank you, Keldrig. The leftists are trying so hard to frame this and the McDonald's thing as bad things, and in the process, they've only revealed their own disdain for the common man. Trump is connecting with the working class, and they hate it. Yeah, I saw this morning, who was it? Steve Scaramucci, or however you say his name, Mooch. There's a great name for him. He's like, wait a minute, Trump says America is a garbage can, and then he gets in a garbage truck. Make it make sense. And it's like, dude, you just actually took two different things and put them together. One, Trump did say that our country's turning into Anthony Scaramucci, thank you. That America is turning into a garbage dump. But he said his people or other countries are treating us like a garbage dump and dumping all their trash here, like they're prisoners. And Scaramucci takes this and he instead goes from completely ignores what Biden said. He's like, make this make sense. All right. Using your nonsense, Trump said America is a garbage dump, and he shows up in a garbage truck, he'd be cleaning up the garbage. You actually made it better than Trump did, you dumbass. I hate people who can't tell a joke, man. Who try to be smarter than they are and outthink people when they're really dumb. It's the story of my Twitter life, man. The number of dumbasses I run into. Donald Camp, thank you. It's been a while. He looked down into her brown eyes and said, say a prayer for me. She threw her arms around him and said, God will keep us free. Thank you for that, feminist $12 and the lyrics to a song I was singing earlier today. All right, so Trump is up here with Tucker Carlson. And make sure volume's up. Here we go.
We deal with real scum. I mean, like a guy like Adam Shifty Schiff. He's a sleazebag. And he's probably going to be a senator, if you can believe it. But I call him Watermelon Head. He has the...
I call him Watermelon Head. That's nicer than Testicle Head, which I call him. But who besides Trump does this? Who besides Trump gets up there and I call him Watermelon Head? Oh, fuck. Policy-wise, I have many disagreements with Trump, but when it comes to entertainment, man, this guy is second to none in politics.
No, he's unattractive, both inside and out. That is... No, but this is a really bad guy. This is a dishonest guy, not a dumb guy at all. He's got the smallest neck I've ever seen on a human being. He will never be a football player, I can tell you. But he's a smart guy, but he's just a sleazebag. You know, there's nothing else he could... should I give you a little example?
I hope you will. I'm really enjoying this a lot.
Actually, the example isn't as funny as what he has already said, but look at the differences in the way these two are wrapping up their campaigns. Trump is out there having a blast. I don't think Trump would be having a blast if his internals were saying he's going to lose. At the very least, I believe he thinks he's going to win. We did not see this kind of energy out of him in 2020. He didn't look like defeated necessarily, but he looked like a man who had a lot of shit on his plate. And now he looks like a dude like, fuck, if I lose, no big deal. I'm still fucking rich. But this, what I'm seeing from the way they're reacting and everything, the internals, I think on both sides are telling him Trump's going to win this. Again, anything can happen. I'm not saying I believe Trump is going to win based on all the polling and everything. But I'm not Nostradamus, man. I get stuff wrong from time to time. Not very often, but from time to time. All right. What else did I want to talk about? By the way, guys, this might end up being a short show. I am extremely tired. I tried sleeping today and I just couldn't get to sleep. I've been getting at least some sleep lately, but I'm not sleeping well. Today, I just couldn't even get to sleep. I couldn't get my eyes to stay closed. You guys ever get anxious to where you can't sleep? I wasn't anxious, but I kind of felt anxious. And okay, maybe that's not the right way to say it. The only time I've ever not been able to sleep in that manner is when I am anxious. But I wasn't really anxious. I just couldn't sleep. I couldn't, it was pissing me off. And then I started getting annoyed, and that was enough. Once I start getting annoyed, there's no going to sleep. But don't care about that. Do we care about that one? No, not really. I don't really care about that either. I don't care about much today, y'all. Oh, shit. I did not bring that up. Now I got to go dig it up. The New York Times story, that is the big one to talk about today. You guys didn't put the actual thing in here. God damn you. All right, now I got to look it up real quick. Talk amongst yourselves for a second while I do this. Election falsehoods take off. Thank you, Logical Mayo. Curious question. How come Gretchen Whitmer never endorsed Kamala in Michigan? Has she not? If she hasn't, I was unaware of that. I just kind of assumed. Maybe she doesn't want to hitch her wagon to a loser. Maybe she's bitter that she wasn't seriously considered for either the presidency or the vice presidency in the Democratic Party there. All right. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Thank you. So the New York Times article, we kind of previewed this the other day. Oh, by the way, did I say thank you? Thank you, Logical Mail. Thank you so much. The New York Times had reached out to both Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro, and apparently others as well, but those are the two that had posted their responses on Twitter, or at least posted the Tucker posted his response, and Ben Shapiro posted the letter from them. And I told you guys then, this was not about taking down Tucker. It's not about taking down Ben Shapiro. It is about forcing YouTube to implement leftist nonsense. It's all it is. Literally all it is. There's these guys that you see on the screen there. Let's see. We got Tim Pool, Michael Knowles, Rudy Giuliani. I didn't even know Giuliani had a fucking thing. Tucker Carlson, some fat guy I don't know, and Ben Shapiro. They are just the mode that they're the method that they're using for this, but it's not their goal. Steve Deese, I'll take your word for that. It's not really about these guys. It's about forcing YouTube. This is about an adpocalypse moment. If you don't act the way we want you to act, we are coming for your advertisers. Now, the only problem with that is that most of these guys aren't, by their own calculations, aren't making that much money from YouTube partnership program. I believe it said in here only 30% of the videos that they looked at, because the New York Times had Media Matters do their work for them. 30% of them were actually monetized. And that doesn't even necessarily mean it was monetized. Remember, you can have a non-monetized channel and YouTube can still put ads on it. So they can't even say that these guys are. Nico Grant here, who's a fucking idiot. In June of 2023, YouTube decided to stop fighting the most persistent strain of election misinformation in the United States, the falsehood that President Biden stole the 2020 election from Donald J. Trump. Da, da, da. Well, that never should have been banned. Those of us who got hit for that shit never should have got in trouble for having an opinion. You don't have to like my opinion, but I should be allowed to have it and state it. As long as I'm not threatening anybody, I should be allowed to say what I want. It's America. It's amazing to me how many of these fucking... This is a guy in the press who will hide behind the First Amendment at the drop of a fucking hat for himself. But dear God, you better not fucking expect to use it. Did Nico talk to Time Magazine about that claim? Probably not. He's very salty about some of the comments he got. Within months, the largest video platform became a home for election conspiracy theories, half-truths, and lies. I hate how he uses one comma in a sentence that should have at least two. JK's, thank you. I wonder if 45 minutes will Kamala Harris refuse to certify, as Republicans wanted MPs to do in 2020. Thanks for the insight and stream. I'm trying to write in a way YouTube will accept and not censor lulz. I don't think she's going to refuse. If Trump wins, I don't think she's going to refuse to certify the vote. She will be presiding over it. But remember, they sorry, Dark Resurrect. I will check that out. They put it in. It used to be basically a ceremonial role. The role that Mike Pence had is not the same as Kamala has. They basically codified into law that whatever comes in from the states, you have to accept. So, no, I don't think she'd get away with it anyway. She can be as pissy about it as she wants. I think what's much more likely to happen is what Raskin is threatened, and that is an impeachment before he even takes office. Thank you, Dark Resurrect, for that feminist $12. In funny gaming news, Dragon Age the Veilguard had a 24-hour peak player count of around 70,000. That's it? When the Monster Hunter Wilds beta dropped, Veilguard lost 10,000 players, and Monster Hunter was sitting at a comfortable 460K. Wow. Wow. A AAA game on launch day. I mean, it is Halloween, so maybe tomorrow they'll pick up, but 70K, that is not good for them. It's not studio ending, but that is really bad. Satsu's playing it now. Yeah, I was watching Satsu earlier. Where are we? During 4 tumultuous months of this year's presidential campaign. Wait, did I miss anything? I did. Sorry, we're going to start that other paragraph over. Within months, the largest video platform became a home for election conspiracy theories, half-truths, and lies. They, in turn, became a source of revenue for YouTube, which announced growing quarterly ad sales on Tuesday. Yes, YouTube sold more ads because of Tim Pool and Ben Shapiro. As big as they are on the platform, no. Just saying. During 4 tumultuous months of this year's presidential campaign, researchers from Media Matters for America, a group that monitors information from conservative sources, examined the consequence of YouTube's about face. Now, he's going to try to give himself cover for using such a blatantly biased source, but just listen to what he said there. A group that monitors information from conservative sources examine the consequence of YouTube's about face. The only consequences there could be is with conservatives. Yeah, sure, why not? Media Matters, who's been discredited. Oh, don't worry, Maniac Man. Wait, he's got that covered too. While Media Matters is a partisan organization that regularly criticizes conservatives, reporters and academics frequently cite it as a source on YouTube misinformation because it devotes significant resources to tracking the vast platform. See, he got you covered. It don't matter that they've been discredited or that they're clearly biased and only looking at one thing, pushing a narrative. Hey, sometimes academics point to them. Reporters point to them. That doesn't make it better. Exactly, Bubba. That makes it worse. Yes. This is not just a partisan group. This is a partisan group that lies their fucking asses off constantly. If the old Twitter regime had been honest and fair, they would have been booted off. But it's okay when lefties do it. But this is his excuse for using this clearly biased, fucked up group as his source for this. Sometimes reporters cite him and academics. That's not a good excuse. If you wanted to have a good excuse for using such a partisan group, what you could have said is, we did an independent investigation and found that Media Matters is right X amount of times despite their partisanship, right? You could do that. Of course, in this case, that X amount of times would be about 0.5. But just saying other people cite them doesn't make them credible. Jesus fuck, man. At best, this just makes you as bad as all of them. Anyhow, the New York Times independently verified the research, examining all the videos identified by Media Matters and determining whether YouTube placed ads or fact-check labels on them. Pretty much, do you guys know how the labeling works here on YouTube? If you mention abortion, you will get an abortion flag. And typically, it's got to be in your title or your description. If you mention COVID, they will put a little thing on there. If you mention elections, it doesn't matter if it was about 2020 or 1920, you'll get a little election thing on there. They don't actually go through and dig through our videos to see what we're saying. Half the time, the little thing that they put there doesn't even match what the video's about. But I just love that YouTube placed ads. YouTube's trying to make money and they put it on everybody's stuff. It doesn't mean that they're supporting those guys. They're just recognizing that their advertisers want to get in front of people, and lots of people are watching those guys. Anyway, from May through August, and he verified all of this. Well, he said the New York Times did. I wonder if they made everybody at the Times watch one video. The New York Times independently verified the research. I don't doubt that. I have no doubt that they watched it and went, "Oh my God, you're right. They're Republicans." But it doesn't mean that their overall narrative is correct. If I show you 4 black guys and say, all black guys shoot each other, and I take you to a prison where there's 4 black guys who shot people, you go, "Oh my God, he's right. All black people shoot people." That doesn't make me correct. It makes me a fucking liar, a dirty racist liar at that. So just pointing to fucked up information, like we verified this bullshit, is also not an excuse. Where are we? From May through August, researchers at Media Matters tracked 30 of the most popular YouTube channels they identified as persistently spreading election misinformation. How many of those were liberal? Because I can show you a lot of those. Anytime they say that the courts looked at the merits of the cases and turned them down. No, they didn't. That's election lying. That is 100% election lying. Most of the courts did not consider the merits at all, even a little bit. They threw them out on standing. Where are we? The 30 conservative channels posted 286 videos containing election misinformation. Wait till we get to Ben Shapiro's example, which racked up more than 47 million views. YouTube generated revenue from more than a third of those videos by placing ads. Yeah, I bet they're raking it in on a third of 286. What is that? 80 videos? Carry the 2. 88 and a half videos or something like that. Good job. I'm sure that that's what pushed them up into record ad sales, was those 80. How many months from May to August? So what, 4 months? It doesn't tell us if it's the start of May and through the end of August or what. So I'm going to go with 4 months because he gave us a 4-month count. 88 videos in 4 months. All right. Where are we? More than a third of those videos by placing ads before or during them, researchers found. Some commentators also made money from those videos, and others monetized features available to members of the YouTube Partnership Program. Commenters included former elected officials such as Rudolph W. Giuliani. I don't know why he had to put his middle initial in there. I've never heard Giuliani announced with his middle initial. Who disputed the results of the election. They give little video clips for each of these. We're looking at it on the archive site, so I don't have to deal with ads or anything. So we can't watch the videos there. It'll surprise you that, well, it's the New York Times. It probably won't surprise you. Journalists like Tucker Carlson, who said the last presidential election was stolen, and popular pundits like Ben Shapiro, who said Democrats rigged voting rules in 2020. All right, stop right there. What you're doing right now is the misinformation that you are saying these guys are spreading. You called this a lie. You said this is an untruth about the election. The Democrats 100% rigged the voting rules in 2020. And I just need to point you to Pennsylvania, where the governor, on his own, decided that votes could come in after they were legally allowed to come in. And then the state court, Democrat controlled, affirmed his decision. I don't know how else you describe that. Ben didn't say they rigged the election. He said they rigged the voting rules, which they 100% unequivocally, absolutely did. Mr. Giuliani, the former New York mayor, does anybody watch Giuliani? Does anybody even know how big Giuliani's channel is on YouTube? I didn't even know he had one. I wouldn't watch him because I can't watch the man speak because there's something about it's like he's afraid to move his neck when he talks, and it bugs me out. Dems are scumbags. That's an understatement. Giuliani, the former mayor of New York, posted more false electoral claims to YouTube than any other major commenter in the research group, the analysis concluded. You mean the guy who's been fighting court cases over this is the one that's the most vocal? That's kind of shocking, honestly. He said in May, for example, that if he did not rehash the 2020 election, the 2024 election would be stolen. Stop. How can you call that a false election claim? The 2024 election hasn't happened. You can't say that it wouldn't be stolen without it. You are now saying that his opinion is false. You can sit there and try to say, hey, that there's no evidence that 2020 was in any way compromised. Still an opinion, but fine. What you can't say is that something that hasn't even happened yet wasn't affected by something that did. You can't pretend shit didn't happen. Of all of the shit that happened in 2020, the one good thing that could come out of it is people paying more attention to our elections. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to have done much good because a non-citizen voted here in Michigan and it's going to count. Nothing to see here, guys. Mr. Carlson and Mr. Shapiro did not directly respond to a series of questions. Oh, yes, they directly did. At the very least, we know Tucker did. You might not have liked his direct answer. I just want to remind you, he told you to fuck off. But he did directly. This is journalistic malpractice. You asked them for their comment. They gave it to you, and you refused to print it. Meanwhile, you print the utter garbage said by Media Matters. Carlson, but attacked reporting from the New York Times. Mr. Giuliani said in an X post that he was proud to be included with Ben and Tucker, two great patriots. He added that we are particularly honored by the designation as number one among major YouTube creators. Giuliani taking the piss a little bit. YouTube, which is owned by Google, has prided itself on connecting viewers with authoritative information about elections. You do not get to question YouTube and their authoritative. I get to question their authoritative sources. You don't. You're using Media Matters for your source, asshole. But the presidential contest, it acted as a megaphone for conspiracy theories. The commenters used false narratives about 2020 as a foundation for elaborate claims about 2024 presidential contest also being rigged. Do you guys remember yesterday? I think it was yesterday. Where I told you about York and Lancaster counties, where the number, it's in Pennsylvania, where the number of voter applications came in, and it was so weird that even the people at the election office went, something doesn't seem right here. And Lancaster County found 60% of those ballot applications. Fuck, why am I having so much problem remembering the word application? But 60% of those applications were fraudulent. Well, the York County one came in, and it's better, but still 28% of theirs are thought to be fraudulent. They're being investigated now. And it's spread to at least 3 more counties. 3 more counties are checking it out, going, ooh, maybe we should look at this. But how dare you believe in any bullshit conspiracy theories? Excuse me. One moment, guys. Yelling too much and sinuses draining, Anyhow, Don't believe any of the stuff. I mean, just because an illegal voted in Michigan, sorry, non-citizen, which makes it illegal to vote, there is no reason to believe that these elections aren't perfectly safe. That is just all false narratives based on the 2020 election. Kayla Gogarty, a research director at Media Matters who led the analysis, said that YouTube is allowing these right-wing accounts and channels to undermine the 2024 results. No, it's the election officials. Dominion made machines that made it so cripples can't vote easily. They literally made it hard to vote on accessibility machines accidentally across the country. As YouTube spokeswoman said, none of the 286 videos violated, a YouTube spokeswoman said none of the 286 videos violated its community guidelines. Jack, my friend, how are you?
I've had worse, had better. How you doing?
I'm tired and ready for bed, but I got to finish this article.
Oh, hi everybody.
It's like nobody saw Man of the Year. I bet if you even brought that up to some of these people, they'd be like, "You're spreading election interference. You're making conspiracy theories." Like, nah, bro.
Conspiracy.
It's a Robin Williams movie. Chill out. Actually, remember I've told you guys about Antrim County? What happens in Man of the Year is kind of what happened in Antrim County here in Michigan. Life imitating art. Where are we? A YouTube spokeswoman said none of the 286 videos violated its community guidelines. Quote, "The ability to openly debate political ideas, even those that are controversial, is an important value, especially in the midst of election season," she said in a statement. Yeah. What do you want her to do? Don't let Ben Shapiro talk anymore. He said stuff I don't like. But see, this is the part that proves what I said was right. This isn't about those guys. It's really not, because they're just cogs in the machine. This is about forcing a censorship on YouTube, or we're going after your advertisers. Most of the 30-track channels are ineligible for advertising, and some had previously violated the company's content policies, the spokeswoman added. This report demonstrates our consistent approach to enforcing our policies. Okay, you don't need to lie to the newspaper. They do it a lot themselves, but you do not put your policies through consistently. Fuck right off with that. It'd be nice if you did. And I will say, I think you've gotten better since 2020, but you're still shit at it. YouTube said it removes videos that mislead voters on how to vote. I should finish reading this before I ask this. Encourage election interference or make violent threats. I wonder if they took down Kimmel's monologue.
Oh, probably not.
So, Ricky Vaughn on Twitter ended up going to jail for election interference, Jack, because he made a joke telling people to vote on the wrong day. Last night on his show, Jimmy Kimmel told right-wingers that they should vote on Thursday or Friday of next week.
Oh, well, he should go to jail for that then.
He should absolutely go to jail for that. Actually, neither one of them should go to jail for it because both of them were joking. But since one did, the other should. Evolved Potato, thank you. Yep. Something that is 100% true, but has nothing to do with the votes, is how the Biden campaign worked with the FBI and CIA to illegally restrict and censor information that affected the election. That, by definition, is a form of election fraud. True. And polls showed almost immediately after the election that if people had known that the Biden laptop story was true, they would have voted for Trump. To the tune of millions. Douglas McKay is Ricky Vaughn's real name. Thank you for that, Dangerous. I know Ricky Vaughn is a name he took from Major League. I didn't know his real name. Corey, thank you. A bit behind, but I remember people saying that this would be the most safe and secure election ever. Don't worry, it is. It is. That Chinese guy who voted here, nobody beat him up or anything. It was perfectly safe. And we
That's
can't,
true.
and it's so secure, we can't take it out of the system.
I wonder how secure it is when more Chinese nationals vote.
I wonder how many more have. Remember, the only reason we know this guy did is because he told on himself. Which, in fairness, I want to be clear about this. If this guy honestly didn't know he couldn't vote, like say Democrats came to him and like, hey, you should vote. And then he tells his friend he voted, and his friend's like, bro, you can't vote. And then he went to the election place. I didn't know. Could I have my ballot back? I did not mean to break the law.
Oh, so sorry.
I think that we should find out what election workers signed him up.
Yeah.
And they
I
should
agree.
serve whatever sentence he should get.
Absolutely.
Because I dare say, as a student from China, he wasn't thinking, oh, I can't wait to get to Michigan and vote for Kamala Harris or Trump. I don't know who he voted for.
It was probably Harris.
We know it was Harris. That's probably who signed him up. Cackling twat was probably right there. Anyway, where are we? Mary Ellen Coe. That is so close to David Allen Coe. YouTube's chief business officer described the platform's approach to the election as cautious and vigilant in a September interview. We have significant investment in this area in terms of making sure that first and foremost, we're raising authoritative content, and then we are removing or reducing things that might represent misinformation. Fuck, the mainstream media is fucked.
Let's hope so.
Oh, wait, she said this back in September, and there's been nothing on that ground so far. I want to go ask YouTube about the New York Times' channel, about Media Matters channels. How come this misinformation's allowed? In December 2020, YouTube banned content that, quote, misleads people by alleging that widespread fraud or errors changed the outcome of the 2020 presidential election. The same policy it applied to historical presidential races, which, by the way, they only applied it to presidential races in the past so they could say, see, we're being even-handed here. Because nobody was fighting or storming the Capitol, Jack, over the 1920s election.
I mean, people had jobs back then.
And we're 100 years away from it, so nobody cares.
Yeah.
I mean, but they decided in true YouTube fashion, we need to, even if you agree with their policy, we need to go over the top on it. And the real reason they did it is because of 2016. That's why they did it, so that nobody, if just done it to 2020, many of us could and would have pointed out how they let liberals get away with that shit in 2016. Wait, it's Dangerous's birthday? It's my birthday.
What?
Huh, sure. Jack, it's my birthday plus Matt Christensen's mom's randomly.
Oh.
I don't know how random that was, but this one's for you, my friend. And a 1 and a 2. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Danger
Tim.
Happy
birthday
birthday
to you.
Happy birthday, sir. I hope you have a good one. Really, really do. What's a birthday like in Australia? They just like throw kangaroos and koalas at you?
Oh, it's upside down.
Oh, yeah. Do they have like a Chuck E. Cheese down there with like a koala bear as their main thing?
Maybe.
Isn't it weird that we send kids to a place and like, come eat here where a rat is king?
Well, I mean, yeah, but we also do that at Disneyland.
I mean, you go to Disneyland for the rides and stuff, not specifically for the food.
I mean, that's fair.
It's not called Disneyland's Pizza.
No, but they have birthday parties there.
Sure. I just feel like maybe we could come up with a better mascot than a rat. I get it. Mice eat cheese. So do people. You could have Billy Bob's pizza place.
Most of the mice and rats I've seen eat peanut butter. So I don't know. Oh, I got a couple stacked up here. Thank you, Keldrick. I'm learning all sorts of new things on Twitter. Did you know saying America is for Americans is a Nazi slogan? I was unaware of that. But I guess.
Hitler was fond of saying that America is for Americans. I remember that from Mein Kampf.
Oh yeah, it was right in there with he loves being a vegetarian.
It was right there where he was cheering on the creation of Israel.
Yeah, that's true. It was all in the penumbra. We eat upside down cake. Nice. Thank you, Evolved Potato. Speaking about non-citizens voting, SCOTUS decided yes, Virginia can remove non-citizens from the register, but CNN lied about it being suspected non-citizens instead of the truth of it being self-confessed non-citizens that were being removed. Would you expect anything less from CNN?
I hate the way they framed it, because for those of you who don't know, there's a checkbox, and these guys, it's a checkbox that you are a non-citizen, right? Or they didn't check that they are a citizen. But either way, it was their own fault, and they're self-reporting that they shouldn't be voting, and fuck them. Either they shouldn't be voting, or they're too stupid to vote. This was my thing back in the 2000 election, Jack. We're like, some of these people, we can't tell if they meant to push this one or that one. Then they're too stupid for their vote to count. That's not my fault. That's theirs. So fuck them. Oh yeah. Understatement's talking to you there in chat. All right, back here. Where are we? But in June 2023, the platform reversed course, saying creators were allowed to dispute the outcome of any past presidential race as YouTube tried to offer, quote, a home for open discussion and debate during the ongoing election season. YouTube declined to comment on whether it would reimpose a ban on misinformation about the outcome of the race after states certified the votes as it did in 2020. Okay, they were wrong to do that then. They never should have implemented this. People should be allowed to have disagreements. We should be allowed to state our opinions, even if we're wrong. It is so fucked up to me that the American press is bitching about free speech. Grant, yes, I know before anybody says it, the First Amendment doesn't apply to corporate. I get it. But free speech, the concept, not the First Amendment. Notice I said free speech, not First Amendment. It is fucked up to me that the press, the American press, is out there arguing for censorship. That should be grounds to be fired. You only have your job because of the First Amendment. Get fucked. Where are we? YouTube removed only 3 of the videos that Media Matters found and placed information labels that linked to factual information on 21 of them, though most of the election labels were later removed because they were probably unneeded. I want to know why the lady at YouTube said none of the videos violated policy, but 3 of them were removed. Seems a valid question from where I'm sitting.
Yeah, they just like to remove stuff.
More than 1% of the videos were removed, even though none of them broke the rules. That's concerning. Those moments included, some of the commenters seized on news events. Is that really the next? That is really the next sentence. I didn't skip anything there. That seems like something else should be there.
Oh, you'd like that, wouldn't you? Coherency? I don't think so, buddy.
YouTube removed only 3 of the videos that Media Matters found and placed information labels that linked to factual information on 21, although most of those election labels were later removed. Some of the commenters seized on news events. And it's its own paragraph. Is this bad writing? Or did this guy mean to make that like a mini headline? Because that doesn't flow worth a fuck. Anyway, those moments included Trump's conviction on May 30th on 34 felony counts related to hush money payments. Kash Patel, who served as Mr. Trump's administration, said in a video posted by NTD, an independent television network, that the justice system was rigged against the former president to interfere with the election.
I'll agree with that.
That's factual. The Democrats made no bones about the fact that they were counting on Trump getting found guilty so that they could ruin his election.
Yeah, because they wanted to call him a felon.
Yeah. And look, the Times shows up to make sure that 34 felony counts. Don't pay any attention to the fact that, judging by what we could see in the appellate division, that's probably not going to go well for them. Don't even get me started on the Letitia James one.
Yeah, there should be a lot of sanctions coming down on these so-called lawyers.
And when Robert F. Kennedy Jr. struggled to remove his name from the Michigan ballot in the days after dropping out of the presidential race on August 23rd, Mr. Giuliani said, quote, "They're cheating already in Michigan." You would think, since this just came out on Thursday morning, that maybe the Times would have pulled that part out of there, given that the story about the Chinese national voting in the Michigan election dropped the day before.
Yeah, it's almost like Giuliani was responding to something with an opinion that turns out to be accurate.
I mean, they were keeping his name on there because they wanted to influence the election in a very dirty, underhanded way. They fought to keep him off, and then he gets on and he drops out of the race and like, nah, now you got to stay on, because they thought it would hurt Trump. They did it out of spite. They did it because they thought it would help him win. Mr. Patel did not directly respond to a series of questions, but attacked reporting from the New York Times in an emailed statement. See what I mean? That this guy's really pissy because this is the second time he's told us that the response is attack the New York Times reporting. Hey, just think about not being a shitbag reporter and reporting the truth. No? All right. Why change what's working, right? YouTube's approach to the presidential race garnered attention in September when two Russians working for the state-run outlet RT, Russia Today, were indicted in connection with an effort to spread disinformation on the video platform.
What?
RT allegedly funneled the money through Tenet Media, which operated a YouTube channel with more than 16 million views, which is nothing compared to what those guys got on their own channels.
Yeah.
Tenet then paid popular pundits to create content, including Benny Johnson and Tim Pool, whose channels were monitored by Media Mattered researchers.
It's nice to know they're branching out from Fox News and Tucker Carlson.
True. Mr. Johnson, Mr. Poole, and others have said they have no knowledge about the true source of the payments. YouTube deleted Tenet's channel, but did not terminate Mr. Johnson and Mr. Poole's accounts.
Maybe because they didn't violate any real rules.
Yeah. Tenet, absolutely, if they knew, and from the evidence we saw, they did. If they knew that that was coming from Russia, yeah, they violated the rules.
Yeah.
I personally, I wish Lauren would have just told people she was getting money from Russia.
Yeah, it would have been easier. And then they wouldn't have been breaking any rules.
Yeah. Because it's not illegal to get paid by them. It's illegal to hide that you're getting paid by them.
Yeah.
But I just love the implication here, because they don't point out here that nobody has been able to point to a single place where Tim Pool or Benny Johnson or Matt Christensen or that weird ginger guy or Lauren Southern changed their opinion to more closely match the Russian one.
Yeah, as far as everybody is saying and everybody knows, there was no content control.
Yeah, the one time that they tried, supposedly somebody said, sure. And there's no evidence they actually did it.
Yeah, I'll get right on that.
Taylor Hanson, I will give him the honor of remembering his name when he apologizes for that shit he pulled with Sneeko. Mr. Johnson said, no, I'll probably eventually remember it. I try to be all principled there. I don't care about the guy because of the whole Sneeko thing, and it's why I don't bother learning his name. And Ginger sums him up pretty well. Where are we? Mr. Johnson said his channel provided a valuable access point for independent thought and journalism. Benny, you don't have to lie just because they are. You're right wing. You're not independent. Stop it. You're not. Nobody's coming to you for independent voices. And it reiterated his stance that the 2020 election was stolen. He attacked reporting from the Times in an online video. Mr. Poole did not respond to a request for comment. I'm shocked by that, and it makes me think Timmy might really be thinking about cutting way back, because this would have been a great thing for him to milk.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying milk in a bad way, guys. I mean, I have no problem with Tucker and Ben Shapiro doing the same thing. Good on them. These assholes are making money off of you, trying to take away your source of income. Fuck them. Make as much money off them as you can. YouTube made money from more of Mr. Johnson's videos than any other creator's videos that had the researchers tracked, placing ads on 35 of his 39 videos. Okay, now, I don't know if he's actually monetized, but as I said earlier, guys, if I took all the ads off my channel, YouTube can still put ads on there. So Benny Johnson has a pretty big following. He isn't lying either. They're misrepresenting what happened. They're not misrepresenting what happened with Tenet. They're fucking lying. That I would call what they did flat out lying.
Yeah.
I don't watch much of Benny. I don't have a problem with him. I follow him on Twitter. But he's not independent. He's right wing.
Yeah, he's clearly right wing.
And there's been no evidence that he changed his mind in any way about anything Russian. They can kiss my whole ass. They're talking about Benny still. He shared conspiracy theories that have been debunked, including that Democrats broke the machine to deny Republicans a victory in Arizona on election night in 2020. Let's say he did. I don't watch him, so I can't really comment on it. But for argument's sake, let's say he did. So what? Who gets more views, Benny Johnson or the entirety of the United States legacy media? I'm betting it's the latter.
Yeah.
And if you guys can't do your job good enough to convince people, maybe you should get better writers, better personalities in there.
Well, are they people of color or queer?
Dangerous Spaces, thank you. Some commenters seized on news stories. Really? News commentators talked about news stories? Shocking. One of Matt's biggest videos was about returning shopping carts to bays. Clearly Rusky propaganda. I didn't know he made that video. I'm going to go find it just to give it a like. Do not just leave your cart strewn around the fucking parking lot, you degenerates.
Yeah, be a good comrade and return it to where it belongs.
Where are we? Political commentators on YouTube use Mr. Trump's conviction to claim that his legal troubles were a concerted effort to hamper his electoral prospects.
So
they bragged about it. The leftists bragged about it. Gee.
Well, Teddy James ran on that. So did Alvin Bragg.
Nathan Wade was meeting with the fucking White House to discuss the case.
Yeah, and probably strategy too.
Why else? The only reason to have him there is for strategy. Yeah.
You know who was a former prosecutor that hangs out at the White House? Kamala Harris.
Kamala. Mm-hmm. Mike Davis, a former Senate aide who runs a judicial advocacy group called Article 3 Project, claimed that Mr. Biden, his allies, and his aides were behind Mr. Trump's conviction. True. Mr. Trump was charged by state prosecutors who are not under the control of the president and convicted by a jury in New York. That doesn't disprove that Biden was behind it. Mr. Davis said, quote, Biden is behind the unprecedented indictments of Trump. He responded to questions from the Times with an attack on the Times reporting in a post on X. Again, this is judicial malpractice. If they were responding to your request for comments and you don't include those, it's kind of a dick move. I think you should have printed that Tucker told you to fuck off. Just saying. There was also a swell of misinformation from the 30 YouTube creators in July when Republicans in the House passed the SAVE Act, which will require voters to provide proof of citizenship in federal elections. The bill did not become law, but it prompted inaccurate claims on YouTube that undocumented immigrants voted en masse in 2020 and would do the same this fall. Do you see what he did there? This is a direct response to the story the other day out of Michigan, because it's not just that undocumented immigrants didn't vote, because that used to be the line, remember?
Mm-hmm.
That was only like 2 weeks ago that was the line. Undocumented, they do not vote, okay? They don't. It can't happen. It just happened. Shit.
But that's a good thing. It happens, it's rare.
It doesn't happen a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally going back to the 2020 playbook. Like, there was not massive voter fraud. It's amazing how they always had to have that adjective in there, Jack.
Well, it works well in the rubes.
I'm not saying there was voter fraud. I'm just saying it's curious that they always had to throw in adjectives like massive or widespread. Because if I'm saying something didn't happen, if I'm going to add an adjective, I would be like, absolutely didn't happen. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be like, didn't happen a lot. Can you imagine that with you talking to your wife and she's like, you cheated on me. Like, hey, not a lot. It wasn't widespread. She actually kept her legs together. Made her tighter. Anyway.
Do those Kegels.
In a Fox News appearance, Senator Ted Cruz. Why are you talking about Fox News? Now I'm really curious.
They can't not talk about Fox News. Media matters.
This is supposed to be about YouTube. All right, I'm curious. All right, you got me on the line. Let's see if you can reel me in. In a Fox News appearance, Senator Ted Cruz, the Texas Republican, said Democrats wanted more than 11 million undocumented immigrants to vote. They do. Even if you're talking about them wanting amnesty for them, it's still so they would be able to vote. The Democratic Party has decided that voter fraud is good for them, he said on July 11th. In the monetized video on Fox's... See, Jack, you gave him credit for concentrating on something other than Fox News earlier.
Yeah, sorry. I thought they were branching out, but it always circles back.
Look, you and I have both been burned by being a little too charitable to the news.
You know, you always have hope that they'll learn something, but they never do.
Yeah, we regret it every time we give them the benefit of doubt. God damn it.
Yeah, they just always, they kick that hope right out from under you, as if it's that step stool that you're standing on before the news kicks in.
Remember the NBC interview with Kamala, and I kept giving that woman credit, and then she burned me immediately.
Yep.
She did it like 3 fucking times. Anyway, where are we? A Fox News spokesman. Oh, wait, sorry. On the monetized video on Fox YouTube channel that gained 87,000 views. Ooh, Fox News might have made $100.
Oh my. Can't have that. They're so jealous. It's disgusting.
Right? Which means what? YouTube made maybe 35?
Yeah. Oh, they're getting rich off this.
A Fox News spokeswoman said it was alarming to see the New York Times take dictation from deeply partisan left-wing activists at Media Matters in an attempt to censor and smear outlets that showcase a diversity of opinions. Yes, 100%. Mr. Cruz's office did not respond to an emailed request for comment. He was on Fox News. Did he even know he was on YouTube? Does Fox do exclusive new YouTube stuff?
I don't know.
I think all of theirs is re-uploads from their network.
I thought so, but maybe not. Who knows?
The fuck would you be bothering Ted Cruz about this shit?
Because they hate Ted Cruz, too.
In August, Mr. Kennedy dropped out of the presidential race and endorsed Mr. Trump. He struggled to get off the ballot in Michigan, which prompted Giuliani to spread rapid-fire misinformation. Mr. Giuliani accused Secretary of State in Michigan, Jocelyn Benson, that horrible bitch, of illegally keeping Mr. Kennedy on the ballot to help Democrats as part of a broader attempt to fix the election. Michigan law did not permit a candidate like Mr. Kennedy, who had been nominated by the Natural Law Party in Michigan, to withdraw after accepting a party nomination. They would have if they thought he was going to hurt Biden. Why don't you mention that they fought to keep him off? Because by law, he should have been allowed. He should not have had to fight to get on the ballot. He was on a party ticket.
Well, fighting to get him off just sounds bad.
We only care about the part of the law that helps us.
Yeah, well, that's probably more accurate than we want to admit.
Where are we? Mr. Giuliani made the claims during a live stream that had more than 3,400 viewers. YouTube previously suspended him after the January 6th attack on the Capitol for sharing election lies. Ads appear on only 2 of Mr. Giuliani's 77 videos containing election falsehoods. He continues to dispute the 2020 election in videos that found an audience of 415,000. That's all Giuliani's pulling down? In 77 videos? That's wow.
You got to remember that he's old. Yeah. And he hasn't been really popular in 20-some years.
Yeah. I mean, he got a little bump back in at the election time around 2020. But before that, he hadn't really been relevant. Remember when he tried to run for president, he waited till the last minute and then he just had to like immediately drop out. Good times, Rudy. Good times.
Yeah, that was just sad.
Everybody knew he was going to run, and all he was doing was trying to wait people out, which was stupid. And then he finally, I'm running, and everybody went, we don't care. You should have jumped in when everybody else did. You don't get to start halfway through the race. This is not the Democrats. Don't get angry at me if I tell you they're already cheating on the 2024 election, he said in an August 28th video. Mr. Johnson tapped into the immigration issue on YouTube, where he has 2.5 million subscribers. YouTube placed ads on 35 of his videos containing misinformation, and they attracted 7 million views. So, how dare he? He said some stuff they didn't like, Jack.
Oh, no.
All right. You claim that he lied in 35 of his videos. You should be able to provide the lie. I'm just saying, right?
Yeah, provide a link to every single one.
Yeah.
And debunk it. We're never going to get that.
Mr. Johnson argued in a monetized video with 157,000 views that Democrats, okay, you don't know that it's a monetized video. I get it. You're from the New York Times and you're their YouTube reporter, so you should know this. But when we say a monetized video as creators, what we're usually talking about is it monetized for us. And again, even if YouTube says I'm not allowed to have ads, they can put ads on my shit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 100%. And they get all the money.
Yep. Instead of shit, how much do they get? 30, 40%? I forget what they get these days.
They get most of it.
Dangerous, thank you. Question, Nico. How many of these things you are talking about have been disproven? Not proven and disproven are not the same things. It bugs me how so many people don't make that distinction. Well, he did use the word debunked, which gives the impression that they've been disproven, but their idea of debunked is, but the White House said there was an apostrophe.
Yeah. That man is lying. Can I see your evidence? No.
Yeah. Anyway, Mr. Johnson argued in a monetized video with 157,000 views that Democrats had not closed the border because they were planning on making immigrants 30 million new Democratic voters. In fact, non-citizens can't legally vote in elections, and election officials have repeatedly stated that there's no evidence that non-citizens are trying to vote in meaningful numbers.
Oh, so it is happening, but it's rare.
I told you he had to adjust this because their line did not used to be in meaningful numbers. It was just, this doesn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. The next step is it is happening, but it's a good thing.
And him saying they're planning on making Democratic voters out of these 30 million, that doesn't even necessarily mean them voting fraudulently. It can mean by giving them amnesty so that they are American citizens and can vote.
Yeah.
You want to see them turn their back on these guys real quick? I can make Democrats hate illegals again. You ready? Got to do two things. One, they don't count in the census. That's a big part of it.
Yep.
And two, even if they get amnesty, they are never allowed to vote in our elections. And that goes for their whole line on down. The only way they can vote on our elections is to leave, not them, their family, for at least a decade and then come back in legally.
I think anybody that crossed the border illegally should never be allowed to be a citizen. I'm just that unforgiving on this now.
And that's fair, but if they stay in the country and they end up having great-great-grandchildren, their great-great-grandchildren should have to leave and come back if they want to vote. Because they didn't come over, they didn't even cross the border, you know? So I'll give them a little pass to where generations down the line, if they leave for a decade, they can reapply. And if they're admitted, then they can vote. Take away the incentive for voting and changing the census to where illegals count for some reason for the apportionment of our representatives. Get rid of those two things and they will fuck the fuck off. Democrats will be like, well, we don't need them now.
Or register them as Republicans.
Don't allow them to vote, period. And welfare, zero welfare. No, see, you're talking about how we would treat them. I understand that. I'm talking about just how you make Democrats not support them anymore. Take away any incentive for voting down the line, and they will absolutely be like, nah, never mind. We thought we liked Mexicans, but we don't.
Turns out we're still the Klan team. Good job, Democrats.
That's all you have to do is take that incentive away and watch how fast that support dries up. In a video he produced in response to questions from the time, Mr. Johnson did not directly address whether suggesting that Democrats are trying to get 30 million illegal immigrants to vote was misinformation. Well, what did he say? When YouTube last barred creators from uploading misinformation about the presidential election, the platform said it worried that the content would mislead users. Since then, the company's public stance has shifted. It said banning this type of election misinformation did not reduce real-world harm and has focused instead on its benefits. What's important to us, Ms. Coe said, the YouTube executive, is that we're representing a broad spectrum of views. How about they're not saying anything illegal, leave them the fuck alone? No?
Probably not going to happen, no.
How about stop listening? Nico, I've heard your name before, but you're not important enough for me to remember. So all I know about you now is that you are a New York Times reporter. This is not an opinion piece. This is a news piece. And your source was Media Matters.
Totally reliable. One of the selected ones are the approved sources by, they were approved by the party.
He did reply in a video. He debunked their accusations and stated his intent to sue them. Well, they did say he made the video, so that part they got right. But they said he did not directly address whether suggesting. I wonder, because they they gave a couple of specific questions to people. They gave like each one of them one specific question. And then at least from what we saw from Shapiro and Tucker, the other two questions were identical. So I wonder if they did specifically ask him that one. I don't know. I'd have to watch his video, and that's not on my to-do list right now. But, you know, we just had Bezos come out and say, you know, people don't trust us and we need to do everything we can in our power to fix that. And the New York Times went, hold my beer. Just today, watching Joe Rogan and JD Vance, they were talking about this, specifically about the Bezos thing. And both of them said that while the New York Times is biased, it's not that bad. And I was like, what the fuck do you guys read?
Right?
They're just as bad as anyone else, if not worse. This is a slander piece, a very good piece of evidence. I don't know if they could actually sue over it because he does use a lot of weasel words in there. And unfortunately, he can claim that a lot of what he said was opinion. I don't know that you could actually sue over anything that was written in there. You can try. Speaking of suits, did you see Jared Monroe won his?
No.
Yeah, Crowder sued him, remember? And the judge dismissed it yesterday morning with prejudice. Whoopsie.
Huh. Not gay Jared won.
Not gay Jared won. Yeah. For those of you who don't understand, with prejudice means that it cannot be brought again. There is still a case pending before the National Labor Relations Board for harassment and retaliation.
Oh, that's Jared's lawsuit, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's not really a lawsuit. It is a legal proceeding, but it's not a suit. It's called a complaint.
Oh, okay.
You don't go to a trial. You just, submit shit to the National Labor Relations Board and they make a ruling. And from what I'm seeing, this being dismissed out of hand like that really helps his claim with the National Labor Relations Board.
Nice.
Because the article that I read about it is the guy who is representing Jared at the National Labor Relations Board, and he links an article about this guy who did a very similar thing. He sued some ex-employees, it was actually a union, in basically direct retaliation, and they were thrown out because they had no merit, and that's what this was thrown out for. So it looks like a retaliatory lawsuit. He had to pay Jared's legal fees in addition to $15,000 to try to prevent him from doing this in the future.
Ouch.
Yep. He got slapped with I don't know. It didn't say fine, so I don't know who gets that $15,000. I hope it goes to Jared. If he wins the National Labor Relations Board one, he just gets lawyer fees for it. So it's not like he's going to make a lot of money off Crowder here.
Yeah.
It's just clearing his name and getting Crowder to back the fuck off. So, yeah, fuck that guy. Crowder, you're an asshole. I'm glad this happened to you, and I hope worse things come.
Yeah, because he has shown time and time again what a douchebag he is. That man's a total diva.
Your show hasn't been funny since you stopped stealing our jokes. Actually, I don't know if he stopped stealing our jokes because I don't watch him. I tried one day. He popped up on my thing. I'm like, all right, let me check in on Crowder. I didn't make it 10 minutes. Whoever's in the third chair now that used to have a funny comedian named Dave Landau is not funny. It's annoying. And without that, there's not that much humor. Dave played very well with the whole crowd. He even got Jared to loosen up and shit. And yeah, it's just gone. It's bad. It's bad. Josh Firestein, is that his name? Yeah, he's annoying. Anyway, Jack, so the New York Times did finally drop their story. And as I told you guys, It really doesn't have all that much to do with the personalities involved. It's just a way to try to bring YouTube under their thumb. And hopefully YouTube has learned the lesson this time.
Good luck.
YouTube, and I'm not even talking about free speech here. I'm just talking about simple business. You are bigger than the media. You are bigger than all other media combined. Tell these people to get fucked. That's all you got to do. Tell them to shut the fuck up or you'll turn your power against them. Severus, thank you so much. That whole article sounded like a giant cope fest. It was a struggle session is what we read right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys are bad. You better get back in line or the party will bring you down. And the folks there at Google, they have the money to tell the New York Times to go piss up a rope. And I hope they do, because that's what they should have done with the Wall Street Journal over the PewDiePie thing.
Yeah.
Should have just went, oh, fuck off. Same thing with the Crowder, and don't make me defend that fucker, and Carlos Maza thing. Fuck off, okay? Just go away.
Yeah, mind your own business.
You're just mad that we're bigger than you.
Right? YouTube needs to realize that by having creator-owned content, like the creators creating their content for them, they have the greatest way to defeat any of these clowns. Because
oh god, yeah,
their cost is largely in servers. They don't have to actually produce anything.
Can you imagine if YouTube reached out to its creators and said, the New York Times is trying to bring us down. Here's a list of their advertisers.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Oh, it would be brutal.
It would be a fucking slaughter.
But
New York Times,
they keep wanting to become legacy media or Netflix.
And hopefully the guy in charge now, sorry, ugly man, I don't remember your name, seems to at least be a little bit better than Susan was, because Susan was such a pussy. May God rest her soul. I don't mean to speak ill of the dead, but I'm not going to pretend she was great when she wasn't.
No, she was pretty awful.
She was, because she desperately wanted to be seen as a legacy media, what would be a credible media source.
Yeah, and you don't need to do that. You have the numbers. There are more people watching YouTube, but there's no reason to try and become something that's failing and fading out.
Mm-hmm. Evolve said, I forgot she died. So did I. Actually felt bad because I meant to bring it up one night and then it's just gotten away from us. I don't know if we've ever mentioned it on the show.
Yeah, we talked about it real briefly once.
Did we? Okay, yeah. So Susan Wojcicki died, which that suddenly made sense why she left as abruptly as she did and everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck cancer. Just because I didn't like her doesn't mean she deserved to go out that way.
No, that sounded pretty awful. So
yeah. But she was very bad at this because she so desperately wanted to be seen as one of the big boys. You were the big boy.
Yeah.
They
need somebody that recognizes the power and potential of having the creator space they do.
Mm-hmm. She should have told them to just fuck off. The only reason you're coming after us is because you're sad that she needed Trump in there. You're just mad you're not relevant anymore.
Oh, God, yeah. That'd be funny.
And that's what she should have done. But instead, she was so dead. Remember, was it Barbara Walters? Who was it that she had some old lady with her at CBS? And the lady brought up some videos and she's like, we do our best to take this stuff down. She told that bitch to get out of your office.
Yeah. I'd be like, yeah, it's on it. We have a lot of different people with different viewpoints, and we allow that. You don't like it? Don't watch.
I'd have been like, I'm going to go tell all of the people on YouTube to find clips of you fucking up and blast it.
Yeah.
Let's see how you fare.
Yeah, weaponize the autism of the internet.
Fuck yeah.
That would not end well for them.
And all you got to do is stay in your fucking lane. Leave us alone. We'll leave you alone. But you come after us and we're speaking softly, but we got a very big stick, motherfucker. You want to come after our advertisers? Let's play that game.
See how well that works out.
Do you think you can get more people calling advertisers than bored people on the fucking internet?
Right?
The autistic YouTube community would love to call your advertisers. Anyway, I think that's where we're wrapping up, Jack. Anything you want to bring up before we take off?
No. I've had a busy day. It's been less than good, so I don't really have anything. I didn't get anything done today.
Programming note for tomorrow. I spent all day thinking this was Friday. Turns out it's actually Friday now. Yeah. So yesterday I thought it was Friday all day. So I thought tonight was going to be where I would have to send you a message and go, might not be able to do the show, but that's actually tomorrow. I have family obligations on Saturday, so I need to make sure I'm getting as much normal sleep as I can.
Normal sleep.
I will let you know when I know, bud.
Yeah, cool.
But because of the way I sleep, I might still end up if I don't do a show at nighttime, it might be like 5 a.m. if I wake up and have time before everything starts,
Yeah.
So I'll do my best to still do a show tomorrow, guys. Just there's no way I can promise you when or even if. So thank you for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you so much for the donations. You guys are so awesome. Jack, anything you want to show?
No, I didn't get anything done.
Mr. Nico, whatever the fuck your dumbass name was, you can go fuck yourself. I hope you have the worst day of your life that doesn't involve anybody you know dying. Jack, a pleasure as always, my friend.
Always glad to be here.
Everyone, have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. We love you. We'll see y'all next time.
Bye, everybody.
I was about to sing Candle in the Wind. That'd probably get me in trouble.
You can change the lyrics to it.
I did that once for the Krasensteins.
Oh.
That's still on my channel. You can go watch it. Go watch my Krasenstein video where I sing about them getting kicked off Twitter because I thought it was funny.